Right, Harley 45 engine, which customers bought to us because it wouldn't run, said to have had new carb or carb rebuild. That carb is a reproduction military M88. Well, basically what he's had it done is spec'd up to a WLDR, which is a sort of street hot rod come racer, yeah? So what's been said to have been done is the carburettor rebuilt, the new big manifold, big port cylinders and pistons, WLDR camshafts, valves and lifters, a 32 tooth engine sprocket and a 4-speed transmission. The carb is new. It has got what you call a bigger venturi in it. If you look down the throat of that, see the aluminium piece inside? You've got the nozzle coming up through it, yeah? And that's bigger. If you look at that carburettor over there, Stu, can you see that venturi smaller slightly?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah? So that one's had a bigger venturi fitted, which will just, in theory, would let more fuel through. But as far as I can gather, a WLDR should have an M38, won't it, Robin?
Linkert, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Linkert, but they're all different numbers. That's an M88 military spec carb, fixed high-speed needle. As far as I can make out, a WLDR should have a M38, which is probably slightly bigger on the bore size with a bigger venturi. So that, be it right or wrong, has been done. Big port cylinders and pistons. These pistons are plus 70 thousandths of an inch, which is obviously a bigger piston. WLDR cams and valves and lifters. As far as I'm aware, a WLDR should be the same size valves as a UL, a big twin, and the same size inlet manifold. Now, these aren't. These are standard 45 valves, and that's a standard 45 inlet manifold.
So how can you tell?
Just purely by size.
Okay.
Purely by size. We haven't got a big twin here. You measure the valves; they're 1.5/8 standard. The UL ones are a lot bigger.
Yeah.
1.15 or 13/16 or something like that. That's all obvious stuff you can see. So it's got WLDR cylinder heads, which they are, the number 6s. So it hasn't got the bigger manifold. It hasn't got the bigger carb. It has had the venturi changed in that carburettor. It has been bored over by 70 thou. Solid skirt pistons. It's the cams and valves, because we've had trouble getting it to run properly, yeah? So you've got to check the cam timing. He said it's got WLDR valves. On a visual inspection, they're not. They're standard WL valves.
Yeah.
But you have to check it, do you know what I mean? In this book, it tells you timing valves. Time by aligning gear marks, which is you would normal do, yeah? On the cams, 4 different cams, you line all your specs up on that. Valve timing by piston location. Intake valve opens 9/30 seconds to 7/32 of an inch before top dead centre. Intake closes 37/64 to 45/64 of an inch after bottom dead centre. Exhaust valve opens 37/64 to 45/64 of an inch after bottom dead centre. Exhaust valve closes 5/30 seconds to 7/32 of an inch after top dead centre. But what I've done, I've converted all them to metric, or not metric, to thousandths of an inch, yeah? So it's an equal cam lobe each side, look. 187, 625, 625, 187.
Yeah.
So what you do is rotate the engine until the valves are just starting to open or just closing, and then you measure down the bore.
Yeah.
I've checked the bore size, it's a standard size bore. Because I don't know if they changed, I don't think they changed the stroke on the racers, but they had a bigger bottom end pin, should be 1.25 inch bottom end pin. So that's also standard Harley 45. So it's just checking the cam lobes now to see what's actually going on. So if we can refer that back to, because they're in between 5/30 seconds and 7/30 seconds, I've measured this to 6/30 seconds.
Yeah.
So if we're a couple of thou out either way, it's not that critical, do you know what I mean? Put a DTI on it, zeroed that out. I just put it on the inlet valve, it's going to be easier to start with. So now we wind the engine over, so the inlet opens 187.5 thousandths of an inch before top dead centre.
Yeah.
You wind your engine over in the direction of rotation until your inlet valve is just starting to open. Might have to go over one time completely, yeah. Right, that's your exhaust coming up. Just as that closes, you should start to get the inlet opening. Right, okay, so that's just starting to open. Just there, that's a half a thou over, just opening. So then what you do, we know that inlet valve should be opening at 187.5 thou. We won't worry about the 0.5 of thou. You set this up to 187 and you measure down in your bore. That's as near as, damn it, it's about a thou out, something like that, which is nowhere near critical enough for a bog standard 45, do you know what I mean? So now we've got to measure, so that one's okay. You have to do this again on the back piston as well to make sure that those two cams are timed in right.
Yeah.
But that's, so our inlet is opening round about the right place, yeah? So then we wind him over. That's around about there. 625 thou after bottom dead centre. So what we've got to do now is take him off of there, find something to shove down the piston hole so we can affirm what we've got on exactly where bottom dead centre is, yeah? Right. So that's going backwards, so when that inlet valve just closes, so what we need to do now is find the exact bottom dead centre. Right. Okay, so now we can rock that on a dial gauge. So that is that. Let me go and get the other DTI. Right, okay. So what we're going to need to do now is wind it over. So we know that that should shut 625 thou after bottom dead centre.
Okay.
Okay. So we're at bottom dead centre. They keep coming. That's 100, 200, 300, 400. That's coming up to the bottom of the DTI. Right, okay. Reset that again then because that DTI is too low. Right. That's bottom dead centre. Zero him out there. 100, 200, 300, 400. No, it's not going to work on that DTI. Okay, we'll have to do a manual measurement on it then. It's only an eyeball, you know what I mean? It's just if you're trying to do it properly like that. Right, so let's measure that. Right, that is bottom dead centre. Okay. it's roughly bottom dead centre. This isn't critical, like I say. So now we want to dial that into 0, and we want to minus 625 thou. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 625. We want to set a DTI up on that valve. So now rotate it forwards, and when that stops moving, then measure the depth on the bore. Okay, right, now we've minused our 625 off of that. That's within about 5 thou. So as a basic measurement, probably need to set it up. That inlet valve is well within what it should be for a standard 45.
Yeah.
Okay, so that tells me that number 3 camshaft hasn't had any work on it at all. It's a bog standard Harley 45 camshaft.
Right.
Which I would deem to say that they are all standard 45s. So basically, where that's just shut, that, if you rock it, should just be opening. Oh no, 'cause it'll be on the next stroke round. So we'll do that. We know we've set that to 625, because that's when that finishes.
Yeah.
Right. That isn't right. After bottom dead centre. Right, let's just check it out, rotate it again. Inlet open, compression stroke, ignition, bang the piston down, exhaust should be opening there. Right, double check that again in case that's moved, but that isn't right. Exhaust valve opens after bottom dead centre, yeah. Go around again. Inlet opens, ignition occurs, piston comes back down, something weird going on here and I'm not quite sure what.
Why do you say something weird's going
Well,
on?
it should be, that exhaust valve should be opening 625 thousandths of an inch after bottom dead centre. That is bottom dead centre and it's open. See, valve length doesn't make any difference, I don't think, because you adjust up. So let's see when the exhaust valve is closing, see if we can measure that. Right, coming up, rolled over, top dead centre. 187 thou again. Yeah, something's... It's that start of the exhaust valve lift that's wrong. Right, after the bottom dead centre, that doesn't make any sense. I might have written that book wrong, to be honest with you. That's still going down. And your inlet is open. There. If that book is written correctly, that ain't right. Not by a long shot. Because that's the inlet, the exhaust valve is opening before bottom dead centre. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Just explain why that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's written in the Bible. In that book.
And what book are you referring to?
It's a Harley manual. Okay, so we've done our front, we've done our inlet cam. Intake opens 5:30 seconds to 7:30 seconds of an inch before top dead centre. Intake closes 37 to 45 blah blah blahs after bottom dead centre, yeah? So, inlet opens, let's do the inlet again, just double make sure.
Make doubly sure.
That's the one. I think that should read exhaust opens 624 thou before bottom dead centre, not after top dead, bottom dead centre. That would make sense. Right, so inlet opening 187 thou, which it probably is about that. Just see it opening. It's all shutting, so that'll be sucking a bit of exhaust back down. Right, okay, I need to look at some other books now. Has it got any actual valve timing in that book or not?
Just going through it. Oh, there we go. Intake valve opens 5:30 seconds to 7:30 seconds before top dead centre.
Yeah, it's before bottom dead centre. That'll explain it. Exhaust valve opens after bottom dead centre, exhaust valve closes after top dead centre. It can't be after, it has to be before, doesn't it? Otherwise you get valve overlap.
So the book's wrong.
That book is fucking wrong. Right, we'll go and try again now. So now we want to get that back at bottom dead centre. So what was I doing? That and that and that. Right, so we want to find bottom dead centre there, which is roundabouts there. That'll be close enough for what we're doing. Lock him off there. And we want to minus again 625 on that scale. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 625. Right, now we want to go forwards until that is just opening. Okay, so it's just started opening there, yeah? Now that minus your 625. Fine. So that's just starting to move 625 thou before top dead centre and not after top dead centre.
It's more like it.
Yeah. We've established that within reason the cam timing is correct. Okay, it doesn't say in that book, because normally what you do, you put a degree wheel on and instead of doing it by measurement down the piston, you put a marker in at top dead centre, and the way you always do cams is you measure them at 10,000ths of lift on the cam lobe, yeah? So you're not on a flat spot coming up to it, you always do it that little 10th after when it's coming up on the cam, and then your cam is degreed with the specs they give you, yeah? Because you know then that you're properly on the cam lobe. The way they've done it here, because it doesn't say anything, I'm guessing that it's at standard tappet settings, okay, which is 4 and 6 thou. So that all dials in correct, so I'd say that's right. But it's not accurate. It's close enough to get, which is probably why it says between that measurement and that measurement. If you've got a cam wheel on it, a degree wheel, and your 10th hour of lift on the cam lobe, you know you can get a really accurate measurement. But you can't doing it like this. But that, for an old tractor engine, is ballpark. You shouldn't. You've got no valve overlap. That should all work as such, because they're not a racing engine by any way or form. So that's it really. All I've got to do now is check the back one and make sure the 2 back cams are okay, and that's it. I'm satisfied then that they're standard WL45 cams. They're not race cams. They haven't had anything done to them. Same as the barrels, it's not a big port barrel. It has had a rebore, hasn't got the big valves. They're standard valves. So go back to the customer and say to him, look, whatever you've been told has been done, unfortunately hasn't been done. The easiest, quickest and cheapest option out of it is put the smaller Venturi back in that carburetor and run it like that. So this should have UL valves in it, but these are standard 1 5/8". What were the size on the big ones? 1 15/16", wasn't it?
5/16.
No, the valves.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 15.
Right, so that's your standard size there. The inlet valves should be that much bigger. On a racer. Let's measure that internally. 1 1/4" on the inlet. 1 3/16". What, large or small one? Small, yeah? 1 3/16", and that should be 1 5/16", wasn't it, on the big one? So your inlet port should be that much. It should be basically, shitloads more. So that's completely wrong. Valves completely, well, they're not wrong. They're standard. They're just standard 45s.
They're not what he's been told.
So now I can report back. It hasn't got WLDR cams in it. It hasn't got WLDR lifters in it. It hasn't got WLDR valves in it. They're not WLDR barrels. So unfortunately, the bloke's been done over as such. Which is a shame. I dread to think how much it cost him. So a set of cams is €500. All we can do is let him know what's going on, can't you?